I'm Sue Gent and I'm DDO in the diocese, which means I work with those who are trying to discern what God is calling them to. And for the past 8 years, I work with those who are preparing to be vicars in the Church of England. I have met some fantastic people, but those who stand out for me, who give me particular joy that they are now vicars in the Church of England, are those who at the start of the process doubted that they were qualified. They said, I'm not from the right background, or I'm different in some way. Thankfully, God did not disqualify them because we really need diversity in the church. In today's readings, Jesus asks Peter a question. He puts him on the spot and says, Peter, who do you say I am? And Peter says, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Peter was acknowledging something of who Jesus is and declaring his faith in him. And Jesus says to him, blessed are you, Peter, because God has revealed this to you. And on this rock I will build my church, and what you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. Peter does go on to become a leader in the church. But from a human perspective, we might ask how he was qualified. Peter was a fisherman. We are told elsewhere that he was an ordinary, uneducated man. And he made lots of mistakes. But it isn't about Peter's qualifications. The focus here is on what God does and what God calls us to. We are told that it is God who reveals to Peter who Jesus is. And there's no doubt that Peter's faith in Jesus is the basis of his calling. That is his qualification. But it is Jesus who builds the church, not Peter. Peter is used amongst others, but it is Jesus who builds the church. And the authority that Peter has and is going to exercise is Jesus's authority. We're not all called to be vicars, but we are all called to serve God and others in no less valuable ways. If God calls, God equips. And if God calls, then we are qualified. No one is disqualified from serving God or others by age or ethnicity or social background or lack of education. So let's not disqualify ourselves or let others disqualify us, because God qualifies us if he calls us. At the end of a communion service, there is a prayer I like to use. It goes, through Jesus Christ, we offer ourselves, souls and bodies, to be a living sacrifice. Send us out in the power of the Spirit to live and work to his praise and glory. I invite you this week, and perhaps as you think about what God is calling you to in the long-term future, to use that prayer. You might like to use this gesture. It is about offering ourselves to serve God, because if God calls us, then we are qualified and God will equip us.